Good afternoon, everyone. Come on in. We're going to give just a couple minutes for everyone to come in. But while we are waiting, I'd like to thank our replay viewers for coming and checking this out. So whether you are here or watching on the replay on Buffy's Toolbox group, or if you're watching the replay on YouTube, thanks so much for coming in and watching. So appreciate it. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and you'd like to be a part of our live interaction, don't forget, if you are a jeweler with Premier Designs Jewelry, you may choose to join our Buffy's Toolbox group. This is a jewelers only group, and you are permitted to be able to join that. You're just going to want to send me a message, let me know that you would like to join, as well as let me know what your jeweler number is, what your upline is, some way that I'm able to verify you, and I will get you added as soon as I can possibly get through all of the requests that are there. All right, so good afternoon, Jennifer. So I am going to be using some notes today because I was actually, and there's Miss Tiffany now, I was actually supposed to be joining Tiffany Ray this evening with some of her gals. However, Tiffany is a little under the weather, so we are not going to be doing that training tonight. So I thought, well, you know what? I've already prepped it. I'll go ahead and do it. So then that way she can share that out with her girls so that they don't have to miss out on what was going to be shared, because I truly felt like I was letting the Lord take the lead on this. So I feel like somebody needs to hear this. I'm not quite sure who. So if you happen to be one of Tiffany Ray girls, then maybe it's for you. If not, maybe it's for somebody else here. But so I want to share with you a little bit about passion and purpose today. Okay, so passion, I want you to think for a moment about things that you're passionate about. Okay, so this could be in your life, in your business, but in order for you to answer this, you should know the definition of passion. So let me share that with you. So passion, two of the definitions that were given were strong and barely controllable emotion. The second one was intense desire or enthusiasm for something. Okay, so synonyms for passion include words such as craving, drive, enthusiasm, fascination, eagerness, energy, having a fire in your belly. Okay, hope, initiative, longing, yearning. All right, so when thinking about these words, I want you to again think about things that you are passionate about. So these could be things like your family, could be personal or spiritual growth, could be supporting others. Maybe it's ministries, helping others find themselves, helping others find some self-esteem. Okay. Maybe helping others find their strengths and discovering their own passion and purpose. Serving God. Maybe it is sharing the gospel. Perhaps it's simply making others smile, or maybe even watching others succeed and helping to be a part of that. Okay. So I want you to think about those things. What are the things that you're passionate about? What brings you hope? What do you crave? What drives you? What fascinates you? What brings you to a point of eagerness where you just can't wait to be a part of it again, and you just can't wait to learn more about it? What gives you energy when you're just totally exhausted and drained? Do y'all know that passion can do that? Do you know that having a passion for something, even on days where maybe you've gone to work your day job, okay, and you just feel so drained, all right? But here's the funny thing is, in most situations, when people are coming home from their current job or from any activity and they just feel drained, it is typically because they are unfulfilled at what they are doing. Okay, so if any of you ever had a job where you've left from work at the end of the day, and even though it wasn't a kind of a strenuous job, if you will, you still came home just feeling totally whooped. Like you came home feeling like, I am just so exhausted. I can't think. I can't do another thing. I can't whatever. Okay. And many times it's because that thing that we're doing, there's no passion there. There's no desire there. There's no craving there. Because when we have those things, Suddenly we can have enough energy to move mountains if we truly wanted to, okay? So many times it is that they are unfulfilled, that they lack a sense of passion, and that they lack a sense of purpose. So what is our purpose? Okay, so purpose is defined as the reason for which something exists or is done, made, used, etc. All right, so how many of you are clear on your purpose in Premier? Anybody? Put a me down in the comment stream if you feel that you are totally clear about what your purpose in Premier is. Okay, Heather. I love you so much, girl. You're a mess, but I love you. Okay. All right. So perhaps you feel like you haven't quite found your purpose in this business yet. All right. So I started thinking a little bit about purpose and about passion and kind of about doing, if you will. All right. And I decided to seek God's word and see what he had to say about it. All right. So Proverbs 16:9 says, the heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. Now, how many of you, by show of one in the comment stream, how many of you feel like God is not establishing your steps? Where you keep going, Lord, help me do this, and you feel like there are no steps being given. Put a 1 in the box. If you feel like God is not establishing your steps, that it's just not happening, okay? Jennifer says, I know my purpose, but accepting that it's a journey and it will take time to get to it. Yes, yes, okay? All right, so for those of you who might feel like God isn't establishing your steps, I want to challenge you to a different way of thinking. Is it possible that you've been making plans and you are asking God to guide your footsteps, but then you're unwilling to move your feet when he shows you what he wants you to do? Okay? That can be a little bit of an ouch because, listen, most of us know what we need to be doing in this business, what we should be, what we could be doing. But there are a lot of things that we are uncomfortable doing and therefore we don't do them. What if those things that you're not doing are the very things that are preventing you from having the success that you could have and the success that God has already deemed for you and has already kind of planned for you, and then you're choosing to give up that success simply because you're unwilling to move your feet in the direction that God is telling you to go. You're unwilling to move your feet and do the actions that he's telling you to do. You're unwilling to do what it is that you should be doing, that you could be doing, all because perhaps your comfort zone, perhaps your fears, perhaps because you just don't have the heart for what it is that you're doing and the way that God intended you to have a heart for what it is that you're doing. So then I also found, exactly, Tiffany, exactly. What if you don't even allow God to guide you? Exactly. And here's the thing. We will never find our purpose without allowing God to be the one who establishes our steps, that we simply make a plan and that we follow suit. Okay, that we make a plan, but that our plan seeks for his will to be done, not our own. Okay, because listen, my will is never going to be as good as God's. So therefore, I don't want to cling so tightly to the plans that I personally set if it looks like God is trying to get me to kind of do something a little different, maybe trying to get me to do it in a different way, maybe trying to get me to step out of my comfort zone and lean more on him. And we're going to talk about that here in just a moment. All right, so I also found Romans 8:28. And we know that for those who love God, okay, so Tiffany, this might kind of touch on that a little bit. And we know that somebody, how dare somebody call me during my live broadcast? Don't you just love that? Okay, so sorry that the call got interrupted. My house phone also goes to my cell phone. But it's not anybody I need to answer. It's a telemarketer, and they just messed up my broadcast. Okay. All right. So Romans 8:28, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good for those who are called according to his purpose. Okay, so whose purpose? Did I say my purpose? Did I say her purpose? No, I said his purpose. Okay? It is very important to remember this. God called you to be in this business for a purpose. You are here by design, not by chance. Y'all have heard that, okay? Please allow that to sink in and know that this is not just a catchphrase that Andy and Joan Horner used and everything else. It is true. It is so very true. God brought you into this business for a purpose, okay? God has also not changed his mind about you being in this business, okay? He has not changed his mind on that. And in fact, he wants you here according to his purpose. Okay? Are you seeing the way it all kind of links together? All right. So how do you determine your purpose? Chances are you're going to determine your purpose by your passions. All right. So again, that takes you back to think about what you're passionate about. Once you understand your passions, you can then work those passions into your business. And through understanding your passions, you can better develop your why. Okay? All right. Now, no doubt you've heard the importance of having a why. But what you may not have known, or perhaps what you weren't told, is that you must first have a passion that is going to fuel the purpose that God has for you in this season of your life and in this season of your business. In order for you to have that why and for that why to carry any kind of weight. All right. If you have a why that was simply created because your upline said you need to have a why, so you quickly came up with, well, because I want to do this, because that sounds good. Okay. All right. That's awesome, Anita. Okay. So if you have that why for only that reason, okay, then I really want you to reconsider and kind of think about that, all right? Because if you have never prayed over your why, may I encourage you to seek God's guidance on that today, okay? Because your why might not be his purpose for you being here, okay? Might not be his purpose for you to be in this business. So you really need to be willing to seek him, okay? And again, like I said, his ideas and his plans and his thoughts are going to far exceed anything that I could ever do on my own. So, of course, I would rather have that than anything that my little mind can possibly come up with. So here's the other thing. For those of you who had a why and your why has already been achieved, God still has you in this business for a reason. It's time to develop another why. There is still reason why he has you in this business, even if your initial why was already achieved. Okay, so again, pray over that and ask God to reveal to you why you are in this business. All right. Another thing I want you to remember, and that we need to always keep in our mind, is that God created us to do amazing things, to achieve God-sized dreams through him, and yes, our own hard work, okay? We have to remember he did not create us to be mediocre. He didn't. Okay, he did not create us to be mediocre. And if we are only content achieving the tiny goals, we are not allowing him an opportunity to show up and show off. Thank you so much, Tracy. Okay, so we need to give God an opportunity to show up and show off. So if we say, well, you know what? I have a goal to contact one person today, and you contact that one person and you're like, yay, I contacted one person. Yay. Okay, listen, not that you should not celebrate those small goals. Okay? Because even one small step forward is still a step forward. So, yeah, okay? You can still celebrate that. But listen, why not give yourself goals that you know it is only going to be by God's grace and mercy and His strength that you are going to be able to achieve them? And lean on Him for, how should I say, blessing your efforts, but you doing the work. Okay, because that's what's required. We have to work in order for God to have something to bless. We can't just say, God bless my business, and sit back and wait on the money to roll in. That's not how it happens. Okay, we must be active in our business in order for our business to do anything. It doesn't matter how much praying you do. Okay, so make sure you're doing that. All right, so if you are only setting those very small goals that are things that you can achieve, like just by literally picking up the phone, okay? If that's all you're setting your sights on, where does God get the glory in that? Or are you going to be the one to get the glory? Are you going to be the one to say, look at what I did? I want my business to be a constant reminder of what God can do, not what I can do, not what David can do, but I want it to be a constant reminder of what God can do when He is invited in. If He's not invited in, He's not really going to be a part of your business in the way that He could be. All right. So another thing that I want to touch on very quickly is, you've probably all heard the quote, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Now, this has been so true for me. It wasn't because I've always been into jewelry, okay? Because I wasn't. Y'all have seen my before and after picture. And if you haven't, just let me know. I'd be happy to send it to you. All right. But because I have a passion for serving God and serving others, and I also love having the chance to offer the hope of Premier, as well as, more importantly, the hope of Jesus Christ, with people that I never would have met otherwise had I not been doing this business. I also love working with my husband. You also know how much I just truly love being able to have that time with him and us to be able to work this business together. And I'm so looking forward to when we are able to both do this together full time. All right. But until then, of course, I also have a passion for simply helping to support my family. Who doesn't have a passion for that? All right. I also want to be able to spend time with them that I wouldn't have been able to had I gone out and had a different job. Y'all, I used to work full time outside of the home, and I was away from my family for easily 50 hours a week, sometimes more. And over the last 9 years, I've been able to homeschool my daughters and have been able to develop a relationship with them that I can promise you I would not have had if I wouldn't have had this time home with them. I also love having a business that is truly family oriented, one that I can feel proud to have my kids a part of. Okay, one of them is already a part of Premier as a jeweler, and our youngest, who knows, maybe one day she'll decide that it's for her as well. I also love being a part of a business that supports ministries around the world. Listen, they support ministries in a way that I would never be able to personally. But I can do all these other things through Premier, and just by working my business, I am also contributing to all those ministries around the world. That's huge for me, okay? Now, so I want to encourage you to think about how your passions can fuel your purpose in Premier and truly develop a God-sized why, all right? God-sized. All right, so dream big. Dream bigger than you ever have before. And once your why has been established, then it's time to get to work. Again, we can't ask God to guide our footsteps if we're unwilling to move our feet. We must allow our passions to be fueled just as much as we use them for fuel. Do you get that? So, meaning your passion must be fed. It must be tended to. You see, we don't lose passion. We choose to give it to something else. So if you've ever been in a place in your business where you're going, I've just lost my passion for this. You didn't lose your passion for it. You chose to put your passion elsewhere. You chose to take your passion in a different direction. All right. So I want you to think about that as well. And keep that in mind should you ever find yourself losing your passion. Maybe you're thinking, I don't know if I even have time for all of this. Okay, you're telling me all these things. You're giving me all these whys. You're giving me all these, passions and purpose. And I don't know if I can squeeze that all into my schedule. All right. But I want you to consider this. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. Every single one of us. All right. And the great thing is we each get a chance to choose what we spend it on. So I want you to think about that for a moment. I want you to think, if someone were to record your life for just a week, and they were looking at what you spend the most time on to determine what your passion is, if you were going to break that down, what would someone from the outside looking in think your passion is based on what you spend the most time on? All right. So I want you to really think about that. Okay. Maybe you're spending more time watching TV than what you're spending working your business. Maybe you're spending more time just scrolling through Facebook, checking out cute cat videos than what you're spending on working your business. Maybe you're spending more time complaining about your business instead of praying over your business. So I want you to really think about that, okay? I want you to really think about, where are you spending your time? Where are you spending those quality hours at? All right. Now, many of you might also have full-time jobs. You might be going to school. You might be doing all these other things. But here's the thing. On average, we all have, again, on average, okay, because some people work full-time. Some people go to school full-time and are also trying to do this and also have family and this and that. But when you really break it down and, taking away sleep hours and all that kind of good stuff, we still have about 3,700 and some odd hours per year that we could be doing something with that is really going to show people what our passion is. So again, if you're saying, I've lost my passion for XYZ, look at how much time you've been spending on XYZ over the course of the last several weeks, maybe even several months. And you might find that it's not that you lost your passion, like, oh, where did it go? Okay. But that you simply gave the time you should have been spending on your passions, you gave it to something else instead, and you stopped feeding your passion, which was feeding your purpose. Just throwing that out there. So you will also want to determine a course of action for what you're going to want to do, as well as think about how much time you want to be able to consistently devote to your business. Okay. Now listen, this is going to look different for each and every person. It might be 30 minutes a day, or it might be 5 hours a day. It might be 8 hours a day. Totally up to you. But at least do yourself and be consistent with it. Y'all, I am someone who would love to be a little thinner, okay? But listen, I understand I can't do 50 sit-ups today and have six-pack abs tomorrow. I get that isn't going to happen. And I understand that I'm not going to be able to work out just once a week and get the same results as somebody else who's working out 5 days a week, and I'm doing it for 30 minutes once a week, and they're doing it for 3 hours 5 times a week. Well, they're going to get more results than I am. Guess what? It's not because they're smarter than I am. It's not because they have more contacts than I have. It's not because they just go to the right place at the right time. It's not because any of those. It's because they have simply worked harder than I have. And y'all have to stop being upset with the results that you're not getting because of the work that you're not doing. If you're not doing the work, you will not get the results. It's plain and simple, okay? But in order to do something in such a way that you want to do the work, you have to be passionate about what you're doing. So figure out what your passions are. Figure out what is going to drive you, what breaks your heart, what makes you joyful, what just is such an overload of emotion for you that you feel the need to focus on that. Maybe it's doing fundraisers. Maybe it's bringing people into the business and helping them achieve success. Maybe it is simply spoiling hostesses rotten with free jewelry. And that's just something that you really want to do because you want to bless other people. Maybe it is being a part of the ministries that Premier assist simply by working your business, whatever your passions are. Figure that out. And then you can develop a course of action based on those things. Because y'all, when you do that, it doesn't seem like work. When you are fueled by your passions, it's not going to be an inconvenience. And in fact, when you go out and you do your day job and you come home exhausted, you are going to find renewed energy and being able to do something that you're passionate about. And when that passion also comes into contact with the purpose of which God brought you into this business for, y'all, you cannot help but succeed. It's going to happen. But you have to stop giving up. You have to stop being upset about the results you didn't get from the work that you didn't do. And you have to start inviting God into your business. So that is what I have for you all today. I pray that that helped you in some way, shape, or form. I pray that it touched your heart in some way. I will be getting this uploaded onto YouTube. So if you would like to share this out with anyone, please feel free to do so as well. It will be here for the replay, and any other comments that you have, please feel free to go ahead and drop those down in the comment stream. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Please know that you all are always in my prayers, and I pray for many blessings in your business and in your life. I'll see you soon.